All right, everyone, thanks very much for joining us on the news briefing for this Wednesday. It's just a little after 12. We're going to go ahead and get started. Anyone who joins us can just hop in at any time, but we've got people with time constraints, so we want to go ahead and get started. We're going to be continuing our focus on recovery and Pajaro, and we're first going to discuss the Disaster Recovery Center and some changes there, but we want to get started with our District 2 office, and Chief of Staff Marilyn Vierra has joined us today to talk a little bit about the Disaster Recovery Center and what has been happening with the District 2 office with that. Hi, Marilyn.
Hi, Maya. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for welcoming me here this afternoon, everyone. I'd just like to start by saying that Supervisor Glenn Church and staff, of which I am one, are so grateful to the county and its partners for putting this disaster relief center in Pajaro Park. It's something that has been a buzz for a while, and it happened, and we're just incredibly grateful on behalf of our Pajaro constituents as well. Essentially, this is an important recognition of Pajaro people's need to restore their homes and their lives beginning at home. The trauma that so many of these people have undergone is inconceivable, I think, to most of us. But having this center right there where they live and where they're experiencing the reentry is really important. And having that full complement of relief services available right there where all of their familiar businesses are as well is an essential step in helping their community to heal. We here at District 2 are continuing to advocate for our constituents. We're also working closely with almost every department in the county to help folks leverage that power, that advocacy on their behalf. So it has been, it's been a wild start to a new, for a new supervisor, but we have, I think for me anyway, if we ever had any doubts about starting off constituent focused, those are completely on the side now. We are happy to and gratified to help this community. All communities in North County, but certainly Pajaro in particular right now.
Thank you very much, Marilyn. It's really great to hear from the district, and the district has been so involved in there. The supervisor has been there. We've seen him there, and it's great to hear from you.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. We're happy to be there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Marilyn. This is a great lead in to our partners from FEMA, who are here today to talk more about the services at the Disaster Recovery Center and what residents can expect from those services. We have Tiana and Karixia Ortiz Serrano, both from FEMA, and they're going to talk a little bit more about those services. Hello, ladies.
Hi, good afternoon. We are currently here at the Disaster Recovery Center here in Watsonville. So far, we've had close to 300 people so far since opening visit our disaster recovery centers here and in Felton. Most are coming to see what they are eligible for. And most are renters as well. And of course, we offer rental assistance. We offer, temporary housing if they need some place to stay, if they've been displaced from their building, their house, if their house is being worked on, if they had to stay in a hotel, they can be eligible for reimbursement for a hotel stay. So mostly we've been dealing with renters and asking questions about what they could be eligible for and how we can help them get back on their feet. So far, we have about 2,500 registrations so far overall in the disaster, and over 2 million individual households money approved so far. We will be having our mobile intake center tomorrow, opening up at 9. It'll be from 9 to 7, 7 days a week. And I think we will be there, the SBA will be there, and county and state representatives will be there as well. So I'm glad that we are able to open up this new center tomorrow to help those in Pajaro to be closer, to have more access to disaster assistance. And I'll have Karixia do the Spanish part.
Welcome, Karixia.
Hi, thank you. Muchas gracias a todos, gracias por tenernos a nosotras aquí en el día de hoy. Mi nombre es Karixia Ortiz, portavoz de FEMA en español. Nos encontramos en estos momentos en el Centro de Asistencia por Desastre, en el Centro de Gobierno de Watsonville, donde aquí se han atendido alrededor de 300 personas y continuaremos atendiendo a los sobrevivientes de los desastres aquí en este centro. Igualmente, mañana se abre una unidad móvil de asistencia, de un centro de asistencia por desastre en una unidad móvil en el Parque de Pájaro, en Pájaro Park, mañana desde las 9 de la mañana hasta las 7 de la noche, los 7 días a la semana. Esto nos permitirá estar más cerca a la área de las personas afectadas y poder tener ese contacto directo para así brindarle la asistencia que se necesite. Dentro de los programas de FEMA podemos brindar asistencia por desastre si ha tenido daños en su propiedad, si ha tenido daños en su hogar. Igual se cubre para realizar cualquier reparación en el hogar. Asistencia de alimentación suplementaria si fuera necesario. También servicio de consejería, servicios legales. Y también cualquier reembolso que sea necesario si la persona tuvo que recurrir a otro lugar a vivir porque su casa estaba inhabitable. Así que tenemos el servicio de asistencia de alquiler por desastre. Hasta el momento FEMA ha brindado, ha asistido a unos 2.500 familias y se han otorgado en fondos sobre $2 millones. Así que continuamos registrando personas, continuamos brindando la ayuda y ya tenemos casos de personas que han recibido su cita para la inspección, igualmente personas que nos han notificado que ya han recibido cierto tipo de ayuda. Así que en la medida en que las personas se registren y puedan consultar su caso para saber a qué programa o servicio pueda ser elegible, pues así mismo también el proceso fluye y la ayuda pues llegará. Igualmente mañana en el centro, en el Parque de Pájaro, mañana pues estaremos con la Administración de Pequeños Negocios y con nuestros colegas del estado y del county para seguir brindando la ayuda a los sobrevivientes.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Tiana.
Sorry, yeah, I wanted to add also, we have our disaster survivor assistance teams out there in the field. They are going door to door in different neighborhoods to make sure that people are registered. This is one of our other ways of outreach and trying to reach communities that may not be able to come to our disaster recovery centers as well. I think Karixia might have mentioned the inspectors. If you happen to have an inspector and they do not speak Spanish, then you can come to our disaster recovery center and we can try to, help you out with that process. I know that has been a little bit of an issue in certain areas where there was a language barrier. So if that happens to be so, you can reach us and we can reschedule an appointment and hopefully get somebody there for you that speaks Spanish and Karixia. Yeah, so yes, I think that's it.
Thank you. Before you ladies go, and for people who have questions, you can go ahead and put your questions in chat. We'll take questions after everyone is done. But I do want both of you to talk a little bit about safety. There are oftentimes people take advantage of people in disaster areas. And are there some safety tips for people when an inspector comes to their door that they should know about?
Sure. So the first thing that you need to know that when you have an inspector, you and the inspector have an appointment. You guys make an appointment. You tell the inspector when you're going to be at home and what time, and you guys set up the schedule. So that's number one. So if anybody shows up randomly to your home, that's a major red flag, especially if you did not set up an appointment with an inspector at that time that the person has showed up. Secondly, the inspector will have a FEMA badge. They will have identification. They will have your registration number, and they will have some type of identification to let you know that they work with FEMA. And thirdly, the most important part is that FEMA does not ask for any money at all during the inspection. Fraudulent people will ask for money upfront, or money for the inspection, anything like that. So if anybody comes to you asking about money, then that's definitely a red flag. So there's 3 red flags. 1, showing up to your home unannounced. 2, not having any identification. And 3, asking for money. So if any of those things happen, you can call our 1-800 number, and you can call in and say there is fraudulent activity going on in your neighborhood, or you can call the police as well, to make sure that that problem gets taken care of. So it's very, very common for people to try to take advantage of the vulnerable, as you said. And we want to make sure that the safety precautions. And of course, I can send that information out as well. We do have.
Hasta las 45.
If you're not speaking, can you please mute?
12.
Sí, según ha compartido Tiana, el personal de FEMA de asistencia por desastre a los sobrevivientes ha comenzado a visitar algunos de los sobrevivientes casa por casa. Esto es un ejercicio que se hace para las personas que no puedan llegar al centro de asistencia por desastre, pues puedan realizar su solicitud. Así que ya hay personal de FEMA que está visitando casa por casa. Es importante que las personas que necesitan alguna asistencia particular, especialmente si necesita intérprete, ya sea de inglés a español o lenguaje de señas, o necesita otro tipo de asistencia, ya sea de lenguaje o de accesibilidad, que llame al número de FEMA 1-800-621-3362 para que pueda coordinar la asistencia que mejor se adapte a su necesidad, que sea adecuada y pueda obtener el servicio. Como mencionó Tiana, y respondiendo a la pregunta, cuando el personal de FEMA se comunica con el solicitante para coordinar la cita de la visita de la inspección, tiene que identificarse y tiene que coordinar con la persona el día en que se vaya a realizar la visita. Así que es bien importante que la persona sepa que debe estar identificada, tiene una identificación como esta con el logo de FEMA, y que se lo presente con toda la información y con el logo de FEMA válido. Es bien importante que tengan eso en consideración, que no puede venir ninguna persona de la nada, sin previo aviso a su casa, a realizar una inspección y decir, soy de FEMA, vengo a inspeccionar. No, tiene que ser con la autorización de la persona tiene que estar en el hogar al momento de la inspección y tiene que mostrarse la identificación. Otro asunto importante que siempre levantamos la alerta es que cuando una persona va a realizar la inspección, FEMA no cobra por la inspección, FEMA no cobra por la realización de la solicitud, FEMA no cobra por ninguna asistencia, ningún servicio que se ofrece a la comunidad. Así que es bien importante que tengan en consideración que FEMA no solicita ningún tipo de dinero, ni en ninguna parte del proceso se solicita dinero ni se cobra por la gestión realizada. Así que es bien importante que esté alerta, y si hay un intento, ¿verdad?, de engaño, pues que llame a las autoridades correspondientes y realice la denuncia. Gracias.
Thank you both very much for walking us through that. And if you would stay on for questions, if we have any after the other presenters, that would be terrific. Now we'd like to bring on Marielli Carty del Rosario. She's with the Small Business Administration, and she's going to walk us through some of the services that the SBA is providing. And there may be people who don't realize just how broad and how various those services are. Hi, Marielli.
Hi, everybody. Hi, my name is Marielli Carty. I'm from Small Business Administration, Disaster Assistance Office. Thank you so much for this. Okay, so this is very important because I have seen a lot of misunderstanding and misinformation about our office, because our office name is, it says business, and people must think that the only community that we impact is for business owners, and that is not correct. So this is very important for that. Okay, let's start first that we offer different types of disaster assistance. The first is for a business physical disaster loan. That is for business owners. Okay, so this specific loan is for or to replace or repair a damaged property owned by the businesses. And of course, that must include real estate, inventory, supplies, machinery, equipment. As well, we offer economic injury disaster loan, that is the EIDL. Probably you have heard about it in the pandemic. That is for working capital. That of course includes business owners and also small agricultural cooperatives, small businesses engaged in aquaculture, and most of the private nonprofit organizations. But the most important thing here is that all of those individuals that were impacted by the winter storm can request disaster assistance with us. They can request up to $200,000 to repair and replace their property, and up to $40,000 to replace or repair their property, their personal property. That means, for example, their clothes, their household items, such as stoves, beds, refrigerators, furniture, and also their cars. Okay, having said that, we offer disaster assistance in forms of in low interest rates loan. So it's very important for people to know that we work in alliance with FEMA in this. We have received at least or more than 1,000 referrals from FEMA. The community is not obligated to apply for our disaster assistance. The community have to know that the disaster assistance is available for them if they need it, but it's not an obligation. And if the people or the community need our assistance on that, they can apply for us, visiting us on the DRCs as FEMA is, or visiting us on our webpage, that is disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. If you may allow me, I can do that in Spanish as well, if needed.
Yes, please. That would be wonderful.
Thank you so much. Ok, mi nombre es Marielli Carty, yo soy de la Agencia Federal de Pequeños Negocios. Es bien importante que hagamos este tipo de eventos o de dinámicas porque hay muchos más malos entendidos en cuanto a las diferentes asistencias que ofrece la SBA. Nosotros trabajamos en alianza con FEMA en este proceso, entonces nosotros ofrecemos diferentes tipos de ayuda para que las comunidades se puedan beneficiar una vez pasan por un desastre. En este caso, nosotros ofrecemos diferentes tipos de asistencia. Una de ellas, para empezar, es asistencia para la recuperación por desastre a los negocios. Cuando hablamos de los negocios, estamos hablando de estas personas que son dueñas de negocios que pueden solicitar asistencia para reparar o reemplazar los daños causados a la propiedad por estos acontecimientos naturales. Por otro lado, también ofrecemos asistencia para la recuperación económica. Eso quiere decir que si la persona o el negocio ha sufrido algún daño económico, ha dejado de ingresar dinero por ejemplo, ventas, pues puede utilizar este préstamo de desastre para recibir ingresos o capital para poder entonces ponerse nuevamente al día luego del paso de este fenómeno. Por otro lado, también ofrecemos la misma asistencia para el desarrollo o para más bien los daños físicos para los individuos como usted y como yo, que han sufrido estas situaciones, ¿verdad?, de las tormentas que han pasado recientemente. Estas personas podrían solicitar hasta $200,000 para reparar o reemplazar los daños a la propiedad o hasta $40,000 para gastos personales. Eso incluye, por ejemplo, la ropa, los enseres del hogar, incluye, por ejemplo, la cama, incluye inclusive los automóviles. Así que es bien importante que la gente sepa que hay otras asistencias disponibles que no están obligados a tomarlas, pero que sí están disponibles en el caso de que la necesitaran. En el caso de nosotros, hemos recibido aproximadamente 1,000 referidos de parte de la agencia de FEMA. Vuelvo y repito, estas personas no están obligadas a solicitar, pero es parte del proceso. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then if anyone has questions for Marielli, please put them in the chat or wait until we're done with all of our speakers. And Marielli, if you would please stay on for any questions that we might have.
Of course.
Now we're going to turn to our Department of Emergency Management and Kelsey Scanlon, who is here to give us an update on the hygiene hubs and county services. Hi, Kelsey. I saw you there. Kelsey, are you with us? I don't see her. She must have had to drop off, but that's okay because we're going to move to our next topic. And we've got Kevin Cox from Hope Crisis Response Network. There is an event coming up this Saturday. It's called the Mud Out. And Kevin is going to walk us through what is a mud out and how we can all help. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, thank you everyone for allowing me the opportunity to share the good work of what volunteers have been doing in Monterey County. This would not be possible if it wasn't for so many partners that have collaborated together to make it happen. On Saturday, I will tell you right now, we have cleaned out about 102 homes already with the household items, and we've been seeing a lot of debris under the houses, mud around and under. And so we've had an enormous amount of requests to try to get the mud out from under the homes. So we came up with an idea. We've not done it before, and we're calling it the Great Mud Out in Pajaro. And we're hoping to have about 200 volunteers on site come Saturday morning that we're going to be able to go out with shovels in hands, pressure washers, and finish cleaning the mud out. We've been working very closely with the county on the debris removal. And so they are prepared to remove the mud once we get it to the street. And so we're very excited about this opportunity. Volunteers can come show up about 8:30 on Saturday morning, pre-register. We're going to kick off about 9 o'clock and get everyone out to the job assignments. Right now, we have 65 homes that are in need of assistance that we plan to take care of. And our hopes is that we're going to be able to provide lunch for the volunteers as well. So we're looking for a very, very good day. It's going to be a busy day, a lot of hard work. It's a lot of crawling under houses. So it's not going to be very glamorous work, but it's work that is needing to be done. We will provide all of the personal protection equipment that's needed to help the volunteers stay safe while they are working. And again, we just really want to express our gratitude. We've been doing this work a long time. We do response, recovery, and rebuilds. But our time in Pajaro and working with the county, Cal OES, and our good partners at FEMA as well, has been absolutely amazing. It has been such a collaborative effort, and kudos to all the volunteer organizations from the Red Cross, UMCOR, to Santa Cruz Volunteer Centers, Team Rubicon, that have all been pitching in and getting the work done. So thank you so much for allowing us the great opportunity to serve you all. We have been asked to stay another 3 weeks. We have agreed to do that. We may not see a lot of volunteers in the field, but we will get a little bit of work done. But we also are coordinating some of the volunteer coordinations that are going on at the Pajaro Middle School. You can stop by and visit us. Our Hope City Command Trailer is there. And we've been assisting families, not only giving out the FEMA registration information, but also helping to register families. We've been having interpreters on site to make sure that they're getting the correct information that's needed to get registered. We're providing them access to computers and cell phones to be able to do that. And end of my report, but just thank you all so much for allowing us to serve in your community and accepting us.
Kevin, before we move on to the next speaker, could you just briefly tell people what the Hope Crisis Response Network is for those who don't know your organization?
Sure. Hope Crisis Response Network. We are a 501c nonprofit, but we are a full-scale disaster relief organization. We bring in volunteers from all over North America, and we serve in every phase of the disaster, all the way from the cleanup phase, the response, assistance, distribution, all the way through the rebuilds. We are only one of two organizations, volunteer organizations in the state of California that are allowed to build with volunteers. We do maintain a California contractor's license, and all of our work, including our homes, are done free of cost to the families. We do not charge for any of our services. And when we raise the funds to put into the homes, we do not put mortgages on the homes either. Our partners in other areas may require it through them, but all services are provided free of cost, and they come via the wonderful volunteers that come from all over the country to serve.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And if you would stay on in case we have some additional questions for you, that would be great. We're going to continue with that debris topic. We have Laura Emmons from Department of Emergency Management here to give us a debris update. How's it going, Laura?
Thank you, Maya. And I would also just like to commend all the incredible work the volunteers are doing out there, supporting residents, mucking and gutting their homes. So they've really done some incredible work. And, if residents are looking for, additional resources, I think they're a great support network for assistance on those repairs. And so, yeah, in terms of debris removal, we are making really great progress. We're seeing a really large reduction on the streets of debris. We do still have our flood debris drop off, which is open Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are continuing to see a reduction in the amount of crews that we need just because we've cleaned up so much. And we would like to stress that April 24th is the last day for residents to get their debris out on the streets so that we can conclude our kind of phase one, possibly only phase of this project at the end of the month. So that's when the drop off will close and we will conclude our debris curbside pickup. If there is a need, we will consider coming back for a phase two at some point after people have some more time to work on repairs and rebuilding. But definitely would like to stress April 24th is the last day to get your debris out on the curb for our curbside pickup services. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. And I know that the areas that need cleanup aren't just within the city itself. Have you been able to reach some of those outlying areas who were feeling that, maybe the city was being taken care of more quickly than some of the rural areas?
Absolutely, especially as we've been able to tackle some of the, larger debris issues that were causing traffic hazards. And in the city, we've been able to really expand and take on, areas along Trafton Road, Hudson Landing Road, some, additional surrounding and more rural communities. So it is all inclusive for those impacted by the flooding.
Great. And Laura, if you would stay on in case there are any questions. We have Maria Ferdin from Environmental Health on. Maria, I don't know if you're here for just questions or if you can provide any update on, there have been illegal dumping problems up in that area, sadly. And, have there been any new cases or is that still a problem? And you're on mute.
Of course I'm on mute, my apologies. With the debris cleanup that's happening now, sometimes it's really difficult to distinguish what is illegal dumping and what is, of course, the flood debris. What we are seeing out there is I wouldn't say an influx, but a level of incidences of tires. And so I just want to take this opportunity to let people know that there is a tire program happening right now where residents can take their tires up to 9 at a time to Salinas Valley Recycles at Madison Lane and also at Johnson Canyon and locations further south like Pullen Road Transfer Station. They will accept tires 9 at a time for free. And that is specifically for residents living in those areas. We ask that folks who have tires to hold off on delivering those tires to the residential debris collection site. Right now, primary focus is to help the residents clean up as a result of the flooding, and that debris is the focus. And if people have any concerns or questions about tires and other material like perhaps mattresses, they can give me a call at the health department, environmental health. I'll be happy to answer any of those questions for them.
Thank you very much, Maria. Really helpful information, particularly about those tires that need to be disposed of properly. And then if you would stay on, Laura, I see you still there, and Kelsey was going to be on to talk a little bit about the hygiene hubs. Can you help me give an update on the hygiene hubs?
I will certainly try. I know that the washers and there's washers and available
Showers.
there, and showers. There we go. Thank you so much. And I know they will be available there at least through the end of the month. So that is available, and I think that is also where they're working to stand up more resources as well from the CBOs, and the Red Cross is at the middle school as well and can help register for their American Red Cross Individual Assistance Program, and then our fantastic volunteers over at their command trailer for the Hope Crisis Network can also provide, I think, assistance registering for FEMA individual assistance, and you can also sign up or get connected to resources for volunteers to help clean up your home.
And I also understand that the meal distribution still continues twice a day at 11 and 4. Are those the correct times?
Yeah, yes, those are very likely the correct times.
And then one last question about the water tenders. There was discussion about how long the water tender would be needed at the hub. And my understanding is that will be ending this week.
That is correct.
Okay. And if anyone has questions about that, I can do follow up and get some additional information. Thanks,
Yeah.
Laura. Thanks
Sorry,
for
I
pitching
didn't
in.
have all the details on that one, so I apologize.
Well, you got them all right, Laura. You were good. I had my notes here just in case. And just to note on the water tenders, the reason the water tenders are being deactivated is because the state has cleared the drinking water for both the Pajaro and the Sunny Mesa Water District. So it's important to make note of that, that the water is available to be used.
Thanks. Between the three of us, we'll get it just right. So that ends all of our presenters. Are there people that have questions for any of our speakers? You're welcome to put the questions in chat, or you can raise your hand and ask your question.
Hey, Maya, do you mind while people are thinking about their questions, give them a little bit more time if I just mention a few things that the media
Sure.
would like to pay attention to? One is on Scenic Road, and Carmel is going to be reopening at the end of this week. So there'll be a removal of the road closure signs at 9:30 a.m. And Carmel on Scenic Road, and the gathering point will be the Carmel River Lagoon Beach parking lot. Also, just to note, an important thing is there's actually another press conference today we just were made aware of. And there's a press conference with elected officials that include Senator Padilla, Senator Loughran, and Congressman Jimmy Panetta. And that is going to be at 2 p.m. On the Monterey County side of the Pajaro River, on the through Watcher and McGowan Bridge roads. And so that is, we've just been made aware of this. So for any of the media that would like that information, that's happening at 2 p.m. today. And then last but not least, there continue to be workshops for housing law, workshops for landlords and tenants. There'll be one Thursday, the 13th at Ramsey Park Family Center in Watsonville. And if anybody's interested in that, that might be a good thing to attend. And so perhaps we have some questions. Go ahead.
We don't.
Get back to you.
We don't, but Nick, I wanted to ask you, do you want to share a little bit about an upcoming community meeting?
Yes, thank you, Maya. So at the present time, we are in the process of planning a Pajaro community meeting next week. We don't have the date nailed down yet because we're waiting on the location, but it will either be Thursday or Friday of next week at 6 p.m. And we will be making an announcement about that, hopefully by the end of the day today, once we have the location cemented, or first thing tomorrow morning. So if those are our friends in the media want to check back with us either later today or tomorrow morning for more information, we'd be happy to provide that.
Thank you, Nick. And I do have a question from Hugo Morales from Radio Bilingue. And he is saying, is the water safe to drink? They have been really great running a public service announcements about the no drink orders. And Karen Smith, I see that you are on the call. So I'm going to just ask if you would confirm for Hugo that those drinking orders, don't drink orders have been removed.
Yes, the drinking orders, the do not drink orders have been removed for both the Pajaro Water District and the Sunny Mesa Community Services District. So the water is now safe to use in that area. And thank you for all your support from Radio Bilingue.
Thank you, Karen. And also, Hugo, you asked about information on the presenters, and I will follow up with you on that and get that to you. And another question from Hugo about the volunteers. If you don't have that, I will get it to you. You should have been on my list, but if you were left off, I will send you that mud out information, because I'm sure Kevin would like to sign up as many volunteers as possible for the mud out on Saturday. Any other questions? Any raised hands? Any other questions by chat?
May, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put in the chat. We just finished publishing today an English and Spanish community resource guide. And if Zoom will cooperate with me, which it's not cooperating, I'll email it to those people that are on. But it's a community resource guide for the nonprofit organizations that are supporting disaster relief efforts. And I will make sure that gets emailed. Oh, it's working now. A miracle of technology. And I'm putting it in the chat and would invite you to download it as you wish to use as a resource for those that you might encounter, or for any stories you might be working on about community-based organizations and the work they're doing in Pajaro to assist the county with disaster relief.
Thank you very much, Nick. And I see no other questions, so that will end our news briefing for this week. Our next briefing is next week. We'll see you at that time. I'm going to leave the meeting up just another minute so that you can download that resource guide if you need it. And if not, we can certainly follow up and email it to you. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.